Hello? Hello?
Yo, what's up everyone? It's Bruno here. So, today I had another video planned, but my friend Hugo shared with me this Twitter thread and it was too good not to make a video about. So, here I am. Now, what is this thread about? Really, it's just about the whole Jordan Peterson saga, as the guy uses it, and the whole lion diet thing that Mikhaila Peterson has been pushing for a while, and unfortunately, as you'll see, has been pushing onto her parents with catastrophic results. So without further ado, let's just jump right into it, and I'm just going to give my response to pretty much everything that happens, because I was only vaguely familiar with some of the things the thread brought up, but the most recent events kind of just blew my mind, so let's just jump right into it. So here's the thread in question, the Peterson family saga. And I love the guy's first picture because it really sets the tone of the thread. And it has to do with Mikhaila Peterson's book that she wrote on her lion diet, which is basically just like a more restrictive carnivore diet. And as you can clearly see, like, it's like something a child made in MS Paint or GIMP in a few minutes. Like, honestly, I recently learned GIMP and I like making my cheesy thumbnails that I'm gonna make for this video as well. But like, if you're trying to sell a book professionally or like make some money commercially, you know, through a book process like this, I don't think this is the kind of book cover you want. But that's just me. But there you go, like, just kind of shows how weird and kind of lazy her work is, but we'll get into that. Alright, so here we go. Mikhaila started the lion diet, which only consisted of beef, salt, and water. Pretty crazy. And like the guy mentions, it is definitely on the verge of an eating disorder, but she does claim that it healed her, so you can give her some benefit of the doubt if it's having some positive effects, right? But are those positive effects real? Let's see what she says. By the age of 22, I was diagnosed with juvenile rheumatoid arthritis at 7, depression at 12, bipolar type 2, idiopathic hypersomnia, Lyme disease, psoriasis, and I don't even know how to say it now, chondrotic eczema. And apparently, all of this are in remission with her strict dietary adherence. Now that's pretty bold claims to make, and she also further went into how she stopped taking her medications, and in the picture she posed, it's a laundry list of medications. It's kind of scary to think someone's taking all this. And then furthermore, apparently one of them is an anti-herpes drug. I'm not really sure how eating beef, salt, and water could help with the herpes, but whatever. I just thought that was an interesting kind of like weird thing for her to, you know, show, but I guess she couldn't really crop that out of the paper without being, you know, or seeming dishonest. But let's just keep going. Then she convinces her father to start the diet, and then they both report that they have stopped taking antidepressants, or I guess her father more specifically. And I'm not gonna lie, in the picture that he chose, she looks good. Like, she does look like a healthy individual. And I'm shocked that she doesn't have like a vitamin C deficiency, because she said she only eats steak and salt. Because you can get vitamin C from meat, and I think it's from liver specifically, but otherwise vitamin C is pretty much just a plant product. And we don't make our own vitamin C, that's why scurvy does exist. So this kind of leads me to believe that she's taking some supplements, and she's probably being dishonest about her healing from the diet, but we shall see. As they said, the thread goes on. It was around this time that Peterson reported not being able to sleep for 25 days straight while experiencing an overwhelming sense of impending doom after drinking apple cider.
I have a negative story.
Okay.
Okay. One of the things that both Mikhaila and I noticed was that when we restricted our diet and then ate something we weren't supposed to, the reaction to eating what we weren't supposed to was absolutely catastrophic.
What did you do? What did you switch to? Or what did you eat, rather?
Well, the worst response, I think we're allergic to, or allergic, whatever the hell this is, having an inflammatory response to something called sulfites. And we had some apple cider that had sulfites in it, and that was really not good. Like, I was done for a month. That was the first time I talked to Sam Harris.
You were done for a month?
Oh, yeah. It took me out for a month. It was awful.
Really?
Yeah. So I would say,
so this is right before this whole truth conversation with Sam Harris that got stuck in the mud. During.
I think the day I talked to Sam was like the worst day of my life. Not because of talking to Sam, but it was
Just physically.
Oh Jesus, I was so dead. But
So,
I didn't want to not do it because
Apple cider. Like, what was it doing?
sulfites in it.
What was it doing to you?
Oh, it produced an overwhelming sense of impending doom. And I seriously been overwhelming. Like, there's no way I could have lived like that if that would have lasted for... See, Mikhaila knew by that point that it would probably only last a month, and I was like...
A month?
Yeah,
From
a month.
fucking cider?
Oh, I didn't sleep that month. I didn't sleep for 25 days. I didn't sleep
What?
at all. I didn't sleep at all for 25 days.
How is that possible? That
I'll
should
tell
kill
you how it's possible. You lay in bed, frozen in something approximating terror for 8 hours, and then you get up.
Oh my God.
Oh, yeah. Not
And
good.
this is from fucking cider. From cider.
That's what we thought, yeah. I mean, look, again, I don't know what the hell I'm talking about.
Yeah, see, that's not a normal response to having apple cider. Even if it was some sulfite or whatever he says in that clip, you know, that's definitely something that they need to take care of. But I don't think just strictly eating meat is gonna fix that problem. And it probably is what created their intolerance to other foods, because now their bodies are just reacting terribly. I mean, I'm no doctor, so I can't say. It's just all speculation. But it's just interesting to see how he's having further complications, and this diet doesn't seem to be the right foot forward. It was because of this anxiety caused by a severe autoimmune reaction to food that Jordan was prescribed benzodiazepine, which was increased once his wife was diagnosed with cancer. So basically, to help with the anxiety, he took anti-anxiety meds, and once he had, you know, that catastrophic news about his wife, they had to increase the dose because of how bad it was on his mental health. And that's pretty sad, because this guy's always touting about you know, antidepressants and stuff, and people should try them and stuff. But the thing is, he's not a psychiatrist, he's only a psychologist. And the fact that he makes recommendations like this, or when he doesn't have the proper training in it, is kind of ridiculous. And then furthermore, the fact that he gets addicted to the benzodiazepines further shows that this guy doesn't really know how to handle drugs, treat people with drugs, or, you know, give any advice on drugs. And it's weird because there's plenty of clips you can find where he talks about getting away from addiction, cleaning your own room to help with your mental health and stuff, and yet all this advice and knowledge from a guy who is struggling himself with these problems. And that's not to say that you can't, you know, give advice even if you're struggling. It's just kind of weird and hypocritical, and I think it also goes back to him eating his lion diet. It's not helping, clearly. He says that he's off these meds, but at the same time, he was continuing to take his benzodiazepine. So the claim that Mikhaila Peterson makes that they're off their medication was just clearly a lie. And it's just unfortunate this whole family is just taking these drugs, and I don't think it's helping. And yet she will still make these claims that the lion diet is cured her of all these ailments, while clearly it's not happening. According to Mikhaila, after multiple failed rehab attempts, which she claims almost killed Jordan Peterson, they moved to Russia for alternative treatments. The unknown treatment put Peterson into a medically induced coma for 8 days, and then that gave him neurological damage. That's just sad. This is where it gets really creepy to me. It's weird to see his daughter taking around her father to all these alternative treatments, and she's basically like leading him down this path. And I don't know why he's accepting. I guess he really trusts his daughter or something. But clearly this diet is not helping, and the treatments that he received caused neurological damage. So now I'm really concerned for Jordan Peterson's well-being, because that's not a good sign. I don't know if he'll fully recover, but apparently he's in much better states now. In the middle of her father's hospitalization, Mikhaila left her husband and dad to travel around Romania with Andrew Tate, a misogynist pickup artist and a webcam pimp who runs a scam website and thinks that depression doesn't exist. So there's a lot of people like this who just don't believe in mental health issues, and they're just stupid, they're lost, they might just be ignorant. I don't know what it is. It's a lot of issues probably rolled into one. And the fact that she's rolling around with this guy, and, you know, after being with this weird Russian guy that she claimed told her that he had a demon inside him named Igor. Yeah, that's actually the next slide. But still, like, this whole situation is just so creepy. Like, this family's just going through some shit right now. And for some reason, Mikhaila Peterson doesn't really have the mental capacity to realize how ridiculous this all is. She still thinks that her lion diet is saving her and her family, when clearly they're falling apart before our very eyes. But I digress. I mean, look at this guy's website. It's just so stupid. Like 1,000, I don't know what that is, some sort of European currency. And all these things for God mode elite Playboy tactics. Broadcast $8 million system. All this bullshit. So clearly this guy is just a hustler that's just, you know, ruining people's lives and taking money from innocent people who just believe all the stupidity that is out there in the world. And same with Mikhaila, I guess, so that kind of makes sense that they get along. Side note, Mikhaila's husband is from Russia, claims to be possessed by a demon named Igor, and is the one who helped Mikhaila get her dad into Russia. I got pregnant with Scarlett after 8 months of dating this strange Russian man. It was terrifying. We decided to have her. I couldn't bear any other thought, and despite intense pressure from his family, they thought I was a cult leader. And then after about a year after Scarlett was born, I left. It was me. I ran. Clearly she has problems still. She might be off her meds, so that's probably contributing to this. And I don't think the diet is doing her as much good as she thinks it is. It could be a little placebo, it could be a little bit confirmation bias, whatever. But nonetheless, the activities that she's partaking in don't reflect a positive outlook of her, you know, decisions. Let's just put it that way. The entire time, Mikhaila was charging people $50 to $600 for memberships to her diet website that pretty much offered nothing. The site is now defunct for a second time and was basically just a support group for people claiming that the diet cured them. But does it work for anyone? Plenty of people have done videos on this, and if you haven't seen reports or articles on this, it's pretty cringe. Her website was so trashy, and it was basically like a glorified Facebook group or like a Discord server group where apparently she would get $500 worth of value for a consultation that she would provide every week or something like that, and then like annual trips to meet her. Basically the whole thing was just a scam, and it was just a way to sort of ride off this carnivore diet craze that had been blowing up the past few years. It's just scummy. I don't know where these people come up with this stuff. That's where the book cover came from too, all inspired by her lion diet bullshit. Let's move on. Well, apparently it didn't work for her father, as we've already seen. It didn't work for her because she admitted she was taking anti-anxiety drugs while on her diet, and it didn't help her mother, who was on the diet and then was diagnosed with kidney cancer requiring 2 surgeries. And once again, like I said, this is the sad part about this, is that Mikhaila Peterson is basically dragging her family down with her by encouraging them to take on this diet that's just clearly not doing them any good whatsoever. Furthermore, red meat is a class 2 carcinogen, so it's likely a carcinogen for humans, but there's no proof on that yet, so I don't think that helped. The kidney cancer probably takes longer to develop, so I don't think it could have been done within the 2 years the mother was dieting with her daughter, but definitely was not a step forward that was helpful, you know. After Peterson finished his treatment in Russia, they went to Florida and eventually ended up in Serbia, where Mikhaila gave her entire family COVID, hospitalizing Jordan yet again. And I'm gonna post the Facebook pictures that are in this thread because there's a lot to go through and it's just so sad. She literally doesn't think the virus is that big of a deal, even though she had very mild symptoms, and you know, she was at risk individual because of her previous medical history with, you know, immunodepressant diseases and stuff like that. But she seemed to have gone through it fine. But while her father is sick, she posts these weird posts like her at the club in Serbia. It's just so wild. I feel like low-key she's killing her family and we're just bearing witness to it, and I don't think there's much anyone can do because she seems pretty well convinced that she's on the right path. And you know, she's still making money. I know she has a large following, or a decently large following on YouTube and stuff. So I just don't know where this is really gonna go. And that's pretty much the thread. It just ends by saying that as far as he can tell, Jordan hasn't talked directly to media since 2019, and all these updates have come through his daughter, who is, you know, profiting by making stories about it, and then her podcast as well. But at the end of the day, let me just pause this. You know, Jordan Peterson is pretty well respected. Some people don't really like him. I'm not a really big fan. He says some things that make sense, but apparently his advice isn't helping him. His faith isn't helping him. His faith in his daughter is not helping him. They're barely making it by, and just being witness to this family's destruction is just kind of like depressing. Like, I don't know how to put it better than that. And you know, I can only hope and wish them the best. Maybe they'll find evidence for eating in a way that's actually conducive to health, because clearly the path that they've been on for the past few years isn't doing them any good. Yeah, I don't know what else to say, man. Like I said, it just seems very indicative of someone who has mental health problems, or is in denial, or is just, you know, selfish, I guess. Maybe that's all it is. She's just selfish and doesn't care. But whatever. Just thought I'd share that thread with you. If you guys know anything more about the situation, feel free to talk about it. Like I said, I can only wish them well. And I guess that's it. So I'll see you later. Peace.
So you woke up one day, you know what, I'm tired of being a man. I want to be a liberal.
I think there are plenty of men that are liberals.
Not real men.
You really think so?
Men who are liberals are betas.
What do you mean? What is...
Look, again, I don't know what the hell I'm talking about.